Hi, friends. I wanted to go over the solution or how to do the anti-set here for you. So I have given you an equation here, y equals x plus 4 times x minus 2. And so we can graph this. There's a couple of ways to graph this. One thing that we can do is we can recognize that we have zeros at -4 and at 2 because we can solve that using the quadratic formula. So we can say that we, or not the quadratic formula, but by factoring. So we can say that x equals -4 and x equals 2. So you can actually put that on those values on this table. -4, let's actually erase that and do -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So at both of those values, our output's going to be 0. Because if I plug in -4, I get -4 plus 4 is 0. 0 times anything is 0, so my y is 0. Likewise, if I plug in 2, I'm going to get a 0. So once we have those points, then we can take our other values and plug them into our equation. So we can do y equals -3 plus 4 times -3 minus 2. That gives us 1 times -5. So we can put -5 right here. Something that's kind of interesting is that we know there's symmetry in these equations, and that's one value away from our 0. -3, -5 is one value away from -4, 0. 1 is also a value away from 2 zeros, so I'm curious what's going to happen if I plug in 1. So when I plug in 1, I get 5 times -1, which is -5. So we do get to see that there's that symmetry. So the fun thing about our quadratics is that when we're solving by plugging in a value, once we find that symmetry, then we don't have to worry about finding all the numbers because there's a pattern, and so we can just have that pattern keep going. So now we're going to plug in -2, and we get 2. So I made a mistake right here. 2 times -4, so we get -8. And if I plug in 0, I get 4 times -2, which is also -8. So we're starting to see that pattern. So that's nice. And then we're going to find this next point at -1. So -1 plus 4 times -1 minus 2. And we get 3 times -3 is -9. And since that's the only point that's like it, that's the vertex of our graph. So we can start putting our points on our graph. So we have a point at 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, or sorry, -4, 0, and a point at -3, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. And we have a point at -2, -8, and -1, -9, 0, -8, 1, -5, and 2, 0. And so by using the coordinate pairs from our graph, or from our table, we can make our graph. And that is our graph of the function.